Hi. You probably thought you were done with me because the world is opening up again, at least the Hanoi world, but I have been getting quite a lot of questions about how things are changing and what is going on from parents and students and also friends of students. So I figured that given that the SAT situation this year is really different, that I was going to record another video, yes, I know, another video, to tell you a little bit about updates with the SAT and what we can expect to have happen over the fall, and maybe some things about what you should be doing to prepare for that. So the College Board, which is the company that hosts the SAT, has officially announced something that we all sort of knew was going to happen, which is that they are expanding testing for the fall in the hopes that all the students who have not been able to take a test this spring would be able to do that in the upcoming months. They are going to have tests in August, September, October, November, and December, rather than, I think it was 3 of those months that we normally have access to. The SAT and the SAT2 are going to be expanded. They are developing a long-distance remote version, but they are hoping to have the in-person tests all fall in the, under the assumption that the US and other countries will go back to normal. The thing that matters the most to us is who gets priority over those tests and which tests you should take. They will be giving priority to students who have a June registration that was canceled. Now, everyone in the college counseling world is having some discussions and conversations about what this means, because it sounds from the wording like College Board is really only going to be giving preference to the kids who have a June spot, which is a little bit odd given that people who had a March spot or a May spot also had their test canceled. I am hoping that in the coming weeks and months that this is going to be whoever had a prior registration that was canceled gets a spot or gets priority rather than just the June people. But at the moment, the wording is really just focusing on June. So if you had a June registration, you are going to be you're going to have the opportunity to register ahead of schedule and to have priority in line behind people who, ahead of people who did not have a June space. In addition to that, they are going to be giving preference to students who have not yet registered and taken an SAT. So if you are hoping to have March or May as your first test and now you're running around panicking that you're going to have to fight for a spot in August, you're probably going to be fine because they are giving priority to students who don't yet have a test. If you're in 11th grade and you haven't tested yet, you're at the head of the line. Now, the next question is whether the August test is the best test for you to take. If you're in 11th grade, I would say you want to go ahead and get a test taken care of. Hanoi will hopefully be in a good place. You'll be able to take the test in person. And if that's the case, getting one in is going to be really important because most people are going to need a second test. With the students that I've seen in the past few years, most students on their first test are about 50 points behind where they really are in their practice exams because they're taking a test in a different place, they're taking it around other students, they're stressed out and nervous because it's a real thing. So I would take your first test as soon as possible because you want to give yourself as much time between that one and the second test that you're going to register for. So the moment you have a chance to register for tests here in Hanoi, given how many people are probably going to be looking for registrations, I would register for 2. If your parents have a question about that, they can email me to ask about it. I can explain in more detail, or in Vietnamese if they have a question about why we need to do 2, but I would really register for 2 if you're given the opportunity. If you're only registering for August, then take August, but plan on doing one in October or November as well. If you take the August test, do not bother with the September test. Two tests back to back, 1 month and then another month, is not going to get you the result that you want. Almost no one improves very much over a 1 month span, so there's no point in having the second one because you're just going to be able to get your results from the first one and then you're pretty much going to have to sit for the second one, so there's not going to be any space to study in between. So at the moment, I'm hoping that all of my students are still going to be able to do the early action deadlines that we usually do for a lot of their schools. This is going to depend on you having the scores and the grades and everything kind of ready to go. Our extracurriculars are going to be set, your essays are going to be set, the forms are going to be set. The last piece that we're kind of waiting for is this SAT factor. Even though American schools are saying that they're optional, we are going to try to be as normal as possible this year to have the scores and the grades that we would normally expect for the schools that you love because it's going to increase your chances of getting what you want.